Hello and welcome to episode 54 of the Ski Instructor Podcast. My name is Dave Burrows and I'm the director and owner of SnowPro Ski School based here in Val d'Illier in Switzerland. Now, normally I come to you from my old office, which looked out onto the Porte du Soleil, but things have changed. I have now got an actual real office, which I don't really know what to do with, but I'm in it. Which looks out onto the mythical roundabout of Val d'Illier, and I'm looking at the hotel, so I'm like right in the centre of the village, and also I'm right by the train station, so every now and then a train rumbles by. I think they arrive here, well, not now, so you probably won't hear it, but it's pretty cool to have a separate space for the ski school. Shows that we're growing a bit, and yeah, it's nice to have a sort of structure and a place to go. Although it's not exactly the same as kind of, walking up the stairs in my house and be able to carry on and nip in wherever I want. But it is creating quite a separation between my kind of work life and my home life, which I think is beneficial. So that is what is new with me. The view is not as good because I'm looking up at the other side. I suppose you would say the other side of the valley. But I've got a few ski chalets, little Swiss flag floating in the wind, and a bunch of forest towering above me, so it's pretty cool. So what's new? Season finished. The season has finished. I was due to be going skiing to Zermatt tomorrow, but it's just too hot and there's not that much open up there, so I think my big grand plan of trying to ski every month this year is probably not going to happen, and frankly a little bit of me just doesn't want to. I've kind of had enough for this season, and I want a bit of time off to go and do something else. Gives me a bit more time to edit podcasts, which is cool because I've got quite a few in the bag that I've been waiting for some time to do. This week's episode 54, is one that I've been sitting on for quite a long time because I think it's been a really, really, I know that it's quite a special interview, and it's one that I've been sitting on for quite a long time because I wanted to make sure that I did a half decent job in editing it, and plus it was like 2 hours 45 minutes long, so I need to make sure that I split it up in the right way and dropped it in the order of all of the other podcasts. So this podcast was recorded in a hotel room in Aosta in Italy in the autumn, and it's with Darren Turner of Darren Turner Ski Coaching. What I really wanted to speak to Darren about was his life as a ski instructor and growing up as a skier. For sure, he's an amazing skier, great teacher, but he's kind of moved on a little bit. So he still does some private ski coaching, but not anywhere near as much as he used to do. But he then moved into an app called the Ski School app, which is hugely popular, doing apps and stuff way before his time. And then is now moved on to a whole different world of basically video production. So I was very, very interested to speak to him on the basis of skier turned into something else, to see that there's life after skiing, to a certain extent. And also just because I kind of admire the kind of person that he is and how he grew up. I see in myself a lot of similar things, similar mentality, and I think that really comes out in the interview that we did. So I've split this into two parts. This section that's just about to follow me is about 1 hour 15, and so you won't get me in the middle of this. You'll just get it straight through, as we normally do with these 2-part ones. Got some other cool podcasts in the bag. I've just finished one with Tom Gelly, which I'm really looking forward to editing up. We're going to make a part 2 out of that one as well, because we didn't quite finish it off to the satisfaction of both of us. I've interviewed Tom before, but the quality wasn't as good, so we fixed that this time and talked about what he's been up to lately in the 2 years since we interviewed him last. So really good, and I hope that you enjoy this episode with Darren. I found him so interesting, and I really hope that you do too. Enjoy the interview. Thank you for coming.
Well, no, it's
all the way from Serre Chevalier.
It's not too far, and it's not a bad drive. I had to pop into Turin, as I said, and pick something up. So it kind of made sense to come around, and all the plans changed. I was supposed to be going off to Colorado, and then tomorrow flying back to UK, then on to Colorado, and it all be pushed back. So
that's annoying.
It's kind of life.
No one sticks to schedules anymore.
I think the hard thing is when you've got 3 or 4 different people all trying to fit into a schedule, and everybody has different, I suppose, priorities when you're trying to make something happen. It's filming for an IT company, basically. Doing some interviews.
So nothing to do with skiing?
Nothing ski related, even though it's near the mountains.
Huh.
It's an IT company, they need some interviews, and this is kind of led me into doing a lot more film work and helping companies communicate, I suppose, through film. So it's quite unski related, but communication.
Which is also kind of ski related. I'm very scared of this coffee, by the way. It does not taste like decaf. And it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm not going to sleep tonight.
I've just had a double one, but she looked like she just went, decaf?
Yeah, whatever. No one drinks decaf.
Drink this.
Yeah.
Don't be ridiculous.
Well, we've been setting this up for ages, haven't we?
We have been talking about it for a while.
And we've had various phone calls and we just haven't got round to it. And I think this is like a year in the making, but I'm very excited about this one.
I hope I don't let you down.
You do, you don't. Whatever.
Just boring. Say nothing.
The reason I'm excited about it is because you've got, I think, quite a different perspective, because you've done the whole ski instructor thing and you've kind of pivoted within that and then shot off in a completely different direction. And the story that we often get on the podcast is like ski instructors still doing ski instructor-y things. And we never see what's beyond the other side of that. And that's why I think it's really, really interesting. I'm interested to hear the full kind of journey. I mean, you're probably not done with your life yet, but like,
I hope not. I haven't left here yet, but it's been quite interesting. I mean, skiing is or has been and is, a very big part of my life, professional and otherwise. But it's also led me down a few things I didn't plan about. In a really good way, in an interesting way, and I think like any job, you get to a point where I think if you're bored and you get up and you just go through the motions, then I think it's time to move on and do some different things.
That's true.
Often I think people that do that often come back to something along the same lines, but maybe with a bit of lemon thrown on the top or a twist to it.
Yeah, happened to me about every 7 years so far in my life. This is the longest thing that I've stuck at anything.
They say you have 4 jobs in your life, I reckon.
Oh yeah?
4 careers. That's what somebody said to me once.
So I'm due 1 extra.
Yeah. Hairdresser. Cat juggler. Anything. It could be the world is your lobster. It could be anything.
It's true, because it's funny because we were having these conversations, weren't we? And then you met up with someone that you knew, a guy called Steve Chester. Hi Steve, if you might be listening, probably not.
I'll throw it towards him.
Yeah, please do. And you know him, and I used to work with him. Yeah,
really round. I do some work for a charity called the Le Tour de France. So it's like a play on words of the Tour de France. And it's a cycling event for breast cancer mainly.
Okay.
And Steve happens to be like a kind of, he's called kind of the captain. He looks after the riders a bit. And, and he said that, so we were just having a chat. I don't know him super well, and said, I mainly do ski instruction stuff. And he said, I only know one ski instructor, and this guy used to work for me, and mentioned your name, which was quite funny. So this is about 4 weeks ago. So I said, actually, I'm gonna have a chat. This. Small world.
It is a small world, especially in Switzerland. But yeah, certainly, it just amazes me how often coincidences and stuff like that.
Well, as I said to you, I think as well, if you think how many times you may become close to meeting people that you might know and don't. So it's quite mad. So yeah, he used to work. He was your boss, was he?
He was, yeah. So we went. Oh, this is like I say, a whole nother career.
Yeah.
But after I'd finished in the city, I then went into commercial finance. So if you wanted to buy like a hotel or something like that, and the theory is that we broker a better deal for you than you would be able to get from your bank, say. And I arrived at this place, and I think, yeah, Steve was working there when I arrived. We were all brokers at that time, and then eventually he got, he was like boss of the other the brokers, and then he went and did his own shop, and I went and did my own shop, and kind of for years we were sort of swimming in the same thing.
Yeah.
He did a slightly different variation of that. He was much better at hotel financing stuff, and I was much more into healthcare stuff. But it was interesting. I don't know whether he still does it or not. I'm guessing he does.
I think so. I don't.
But yeah, like, terrifically good guy. The only thing I would say was that they did to him that typical thing that a lot of organisations do, is that they take their star performer and then they make that person boss of all the others. So they then put that person into like a management role of people. And management isn't their strong suit. Their strong suit is selling stuff to people and doing deals. So you'd be much better, you see it so often in organisations that they say, "Oh, no,
see it a lot in ski schools."
You do, don't you? It's like, you're the best skier, so you can be boss.
The best skier, or the instructor that's been there the longest.
Yeah.
And he or she might not always be the best person to take the reins, but quite often they're pushed into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it works differently in Switzerland. I believe, a lot of the French ski schools are kind of co-ops, so that people get voted in, and it's kind of can be a very thankless job.
Yeah, that's true. Listener, if you can hear some stuff in the background, we're in Italy. Of course, the thing about Italy is there's always this sort of ambient noise in the background, but there's an international food festival going on outside, and so if you can hear a man shouting, that's what that is.
It's got some weird Italian dance singing.
Yeah. There'll be a disco outside going on. Of course, it's 3:00 in the afternoon, so why wouldn't there be? So that's how we know Steve, but that was a real blast from the past, because they were good times, really, really good times back in those days. Unregulated market, doing deals here, left, right and centre, running all over the country, doing cool stuff, golf days, loads of corporate hospitality. Brilliant.
I think, brilliant. The world was a different place back then in anything.
It was a lot,
do a lot more of what you kind of wanted.
If I think of some of the stuff that we got away with in the office that time, it was nuts.
Yeah.
Like you just wouldn't get away with it these days, at all. You'd be fired for like sexual harassment or improper conduct or all sorts of stuff. Going out and getting hammered at lunchtime and coming back trying to do your job in the afternoon.
Thinking you made loads of money, but actually you were just reading the wrong bit of paper.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, my strategy used to be go and do all of your work, like really work. I still do the same thing now, like work really, really hard in the morning, and go and get leathered at lunchtime and just kind of hide.
Away.
Yeah, exactly. So tell me your story. Were you always a skier from the beginning?
It's a bit random. Relatively late. I mean, I didn't start skiing until I was 14, which, okay, for people that, take up skiing at 45 sounds ridiculous. So I lived near, on the sort of Surrey, Hampshire border, south of England, in between a place called Aldershot and Guildford.
Okay.
I used to pretend to go to school in Guildford.
Okay.
And randomly enough, they had a really small dry slope at the school.
Oh yeah?
I think it was only one of, I think I might have been the only one in the UK, I'm not sure, but it was, I'm going to say a really small dry slope. It was about 30 metres long, maybe 35.
Okay.
And no lift, you walked up, you walked down, you skied down, and to be honest, I wasn't really that interested for ages. I was into BMX and trying to jump off the biggest jumps we could build up the common at the back of the woods. And I think I was 14, and it was a kind of PE lesson. They used to occasionally go skiing.
Yeah.
And I put skis on, and that I kind of suddenly was like, this is great.
Huh?
And it makes me laugh now, thinking, especially my 12-year-old, who's very much into skiing, and during the COVID lockdown, there was only a drag lift open that they trained on.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, I'm getting a bit bored of this slope. And then I would just love to take him there and show him what the deal was. Anyway, we lived near an Aldershot dry slope, which was a huge 90 odd metres with a drag lift, which was just a revelation in every way. And I suppose I became the cheeky kid that would help hand out the kit.
Yeah.
And pretty much skied for free up there the whole time. It was like a stray cat, really.
There's a common story in so many things. I was just reading Shane Burns' autobiography. He's a big guy in like British superbikes back in the day, and he did exactly the same. Like, he was the guy that was hanging around the motorbike shop, like cleaning bikes, and just.
Well, I used that. There was a ski centre, and at the back there was a ski shop, and I used to work in the ski shop. Sort of as I got to about 15, I suppose, I worked in the ski shop. I used to lie all the time and say that the school's on strike, and then just go and work at the ski shop. And the guy that used to do all the servicing of the skis was, to be honest, he was a bit over it. It was a family-run business, and it was the son that used to do the ski servicing. So if I would go up there, I could knock out sort of 30, 40 pairs of skis, and it saved him doing it, and paid some money. And then I was sort of in the race team at this dry slope. Again, no idea what I was doing. This isn't supposed to be cocky. My skiing was basically fueled on, all it was ability to balance and slide down and a bit of natural talent. Mm-hmm. And that's not meant to sound cocky. That's just saying I had zero technique. Yeah. So it was just feeling. You
taught yourself more or less?
To start with, yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, yeah. There was guidance and various bits and bobs, but I remember skiing slalom. I used to kind of go around a slalom pole like I was sniffing my armpit, like a pendulum kind of thing, skiing down. Got picked for the England schools team after about, this is probably 4 months of skiing.
Okay.
Went to Gloucester, did all right in the competition, and then you had to prove that you'd been on snow 3 times.
Why?
Because you went on this training camp in St Anton.
Okay.
And they had, they were just making sure that people had some experience. I managed to get 3 lift passes off other people that had been skiing, cut out the photos, stick them off, and that was your proof of skiing.
Yeah. So creative.
Went off to St Anton, and nearly, and there's no lie, literally nearly died on the first run.
Right.
So by this time I'd skied probably every day for 9 months.
Okay.
For dry slope.
Yeah.
To an okay level, because it was just, I was passionate about it. I was probably skiing 3, 4, 5 hours a day.
Wow.
Race training. By that time I was getting some technique and some sort of idea what to do. And I remember just getting on snow. Have you skied on dry slope much?
I have. I learnt on dry slope. I was going to say to you earlier, I went back recently. Did I tell you this? No, I went back. I was meeting up with a friend of mine, and he said, "Oh, can we meet at Stanborough?" I don't know why. It's terrible, but it was middle of British summer. And I said, "Look, I've got a vague feeling there's a dry slope around here." There's the one at Gosling, which I skied on a lot when I was a kid. And I kind of just said to him, "Do you mind if we just take a wander here? Because it'd be interesting to show Zoe this." And she was like, "What is this stuff? This isn't a ski slope. It's like the wrong colour for a start. It's about, it's flat more or less. You look at it and you're like, I can't believe I spent so much time here. But must have been the same for you."
Yeah, but I mean, the good thing with a dry slope, because the terrain is so limited, you get quite, I suppose, imaginative with what you can do.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, we used to ski up and down there and do all sorts of stupid things.
Yeah. But you do get that
had
kind
a
of...
monoboard. We used to have this monoboard that we used to ski. We used to call it Jake the peg leg. So you'd have 2 people and the monoboard on the inside leg, and then a ski on your outside leg, and sort of ski down trying to link turns. Anyway, the point is, I turn up in Austria. For a good skier to ski slalom on a dry slope, you're always trying to generate speed.
Yeah.
That's all it's all about going faster, not really about speed control. So I just got on this slope, and I remember skiing off doing kind of like sort of short slalomy, whatever you'd want to call them, by what I was doing on a dry slope. And probably within about 10-15 turns, I was going 4 or 5 times faster than I've ever been.
Yeah.
And there was a slight roll, and I thought in my head, I'm going to go over this roll and then kind of slow down. But again, I had no idea of a mountain.
Yeah.
Aldershot is not a mountain.
No.
Aldershot 1850. But it wasn't a roller. The piste actually went round to the right, and I went off this ridge, and I just remember being in the air for long enough to think, you idiot, you've waited 9 months. And I literally flew through the air, and I could see the Austrian, the big avalanche barriers.
Oh yeah.
Like down, because it was a steep pitch.
Yeah.
And I landed before them, bounced over them, and they were there because there was a tarmac road.
Wow.
And then just went into trees and rolled and stopped, and I did not have a mark on me. I was apart from maybe my underpants. But, yeah, and then that was like, hold on, this is a different... This is a slightly different ball game. And yeah, survived that trip, came back, carried on dry slope races, eventually got picked for the England Alpine team, and kind of, had a few sports scholarships, was racing in Europe, but always felt very much like I was snuck in the back door of a party, because it was quite late. My parents didn't ski. I didn't come from a sort of skiing family, so it was always a bit, I suppose, I got to a fairly good level, but it was very rapid, very quick, and I suppose, I always felt like I was sort of...
All the other kids were like going on ski holidays. And...
Yeah, a lot of the other kids in those days were in alpine teams and had probably been skiing since 5 and been going with parents and also race training, and so it was like I was very late to the party, but in a good way.
It's reassuring you can catch up though, right?
I think that's all I did.
The power of like focused practice, essentially. Yeah,
and training wasn't training, it was just what I wanted to do, and it never really felt like it was training. It just was
something you wanted to do.
What I'm going to do. I'm going to pretend to go to school, get off the bus, go change. I'd have all the other clothes in my bag, and my brother and sister were going to the same school, so I'd walk down to the bus stop, get on the school bus, walk off, and then turn around and get the bus back. And I think you could just about get away with doing that. Parents didn't know, and
it's a different time then.
Yeah.
Not in such close contact.
I was bad at school as well. I was just bad. I wasn't a bad kid. Didn't really know it, but really dyslexic and didn't get on, and sort of the classic, you're stupid,
There's a lot of dyslexic ski instructors. Lots.
Tobogganists as well.
And musicians. And do you have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah, but I'm the youngest.
You're
older
the youngest.
brother.
I was about to say you're a classic little younger brother.
Older brother, older sister.
Yeah.
I wasn't a bad kid, but did a few bad things, as in with other. I think when you're in all the bottom groups at school, you get. Don't want to sound horrible, but you kind of get all the dodgy kids.
Yeah.
And they weren't like my mates as such, but I used to hang out with them, and I'm thinking you're bored. I remember we were driving around Guildford in a stolen car, and I didn't steal the car. I don't know how to steal a car, but it was like, well, what am I going to do? This is exciting.
Yeah, you're in it, right?
And we ditched this car. We got chased by the police. I remember like hiding in this bush, watching the police running up and down, and just knowing that it's not.
It's not a good situation.
It's not a good thing. So I think the skiing came around at a really good time.
Yeah, where you focus that energy into something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be stealing cars. I didn't want to be doing bad stuff. I mean, yeah, a bit of excitement, but.
It's like the crowd you run with, right? It's just, especially when you're at school, because you're in the class that you're in. You don't really know much more than that.
And I wasn't a kid that was going to tell the police to sod off, and I'm hard nut. I wasn't at all. Right? I was from a normal, normal family. I think my mum and dad taught me what was right or wrong, but it was more interested doing that than sitting in a maths class pretending to listen.
I hear you.
So that was that.
You're skiing at a reasonable level, and then where does that take you?
So I suppose I got to about 17, and we were doing FIS races and spending time normally trying to work all summer to try and make the money to go over and train in the winters. My parents weren't really in a situation to help out, and it was hard. It's a hard struggle to work all summer, do all the jobs you can, go over there, and again turning up at these races and feeling a bit, what the hell am I doing here? Having some okay results, and doing okay, but it got to, I think I was about 17, completely blew my knee to pieces in Altenmark on a giant slalom. Had the biggest crash, one of the biggest crashes I think I've had. Straddled the giant slalom gate, which is really hard to do. Yeah. Hit the gate marshal, I think broke 2-3 of his ribs.
Wow.
He was in a hell of a state. I didn't, again, came out absolutely fine. And I was sponsored by Dynastar Look and Nordica, which used to be Europa Sport back in the day in the UK. And my race skis were on super, super tight. And I didn't even change my skis, and I literally, after this massive crash, put my training skis on my shoulder and traversed across. Went off-piste onto a sort of flat bit of road and tore my knee to pieces.
Oh, really?
Doing like jogging speed. After having this amazing crash. There's no, it's like when you see skiers fall slow sometimes.
Yeah.
And stupidly, I had my race skis on, which weren't going to come off. So that refocused kind of, I think I chose to, the racing bit was done, I think.
Yeah.
And it didn't look possible to get any further without, I don't know, robbing a bank or coming into a lot of money.
Well, I was just going to say that because I've just chucked some money into a couple of kids that I know who are just about to go into FIS. One is my next door neighbour, lovely kid called Quentin, and the other one's a guy called Axel Hafset, who's kind of I've known for years, that he's been skiing around Morjan. And those guys have had to raise, so Quentin is off to the sports school in Brig to race FIS this year, and he's doing that. He had to raise something like 30 grand to do that. Axel must have been similar, and it's just bananas, and these guys are on this, what is it, I Believe in You thing, so they're just asking everyone they know to chip in. I think they both made what they were, or close to what they were looking for, but it's crazy how much it costs to go racing.
I think as well, these days you can, with things like social media and all that, which, is a bit of a double-edged sword. It's such a weird thing in some ways, but it's a lot easier to get your story out.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Especially if you're kind of savvy with the video and blah, blah. But I had a couple of scholarships, but unfortunately, I think, if you want anything hard enough, you could probably make it work. But back in those days, I would say 99% of the children or the kids that were racing, their parents could support them to an okay degree.
Yeah.
And if you didn't have that, it became really hard. So the racing came to an end. Went back to the UK, and all I wanted to do was go skiing, because I've never been on a ski holiday. Sounds weird, but it'd always been training.
Yeah, you go with a purpose, right?
Yeah. Dennis Edwards was the England coach at the time, and he was very adamant that, you know, we weren't allowed to go off jumps and we weren't allowed to ski off piste. And when I say weren't allowed, you know, obviously this getting to the top of the slalom, there was a lot of dicking around, obviously. But it's one of those weird things. If someone says you can't really do that, it's what you end up wanting to do.
Of course, right.
So after spending a bit of time in the UK, which was fine, I still do a bit of music stuff and a bit of DJing. Did that for a couple of years, bits on and off, and then decided I want to go back to the mountains. So through some contacts, I ended up getting a job in Alpe d'Huez, running a bar, the underground bar in Alpe d'Huez, if anyone knows it out there. And I had a great time. It was the worst snow season ever.
Okay.
But within that time, I ended up going to Serre Chevalier, which is now home, because the people that owned the hotel bar in Alpe d'Huez, they had a sister hotel in Serre Chevalier. Okay. There was more snow in Serre Chevalier that year, and they needed help. Yeah. So I went over there for about a month, which was the first time, apart from they used to have the English champs in Serre Chevalier. Yeah. So that was kind of half of the season in Alpe d'Huez and a bit of the season in Serre Chevalier. That was my first season running bars, playing music, and skiing. Okay. Skiing what I wanted to ski. Yeah. Which wasn't gates.
No, imagine.
After all. Don't get me wrong, it was I'm really pleased that I did that.
Yeah, gives you a great base, right? A lot of the top kind of off-piste skiers and stuff have all got a race background.
Yeah, I think, you know, and it was a great way to start. But yeah, just being able to get up at, it makes me laugh now. Look at saisonnières that come out. Yeah. Not many more of them in France nowadays, but we used to stay up very late most nights, but we'd still always be on that first lift. Good snow or no snow, or
you just go for the sake of it, right?
So yeah, worked in Alpe d'Huez, Serre Chevalier that season, running bars, doing this and that, and then I came back to the UK and got a random phone call from somebody saying, if you want a job in South Africa teaching skiing.
Well, Lesotho.
Well, it kind of gets to there, but it was a thing called Springbok Ski Club. Huh. So it's based in Johannesburg, and they had they called them ski decks, but it's like the Chelsea or whatever.
Yeah, like a rolling thing.
But a larger version of that. The guy made them, he had them made. Yeah. So they're, longest ski slope in the world if you don't get a power cut.
Do you know the kids will use those now?
Yeah.
The races, they're going to those all the time to drill
and
that
have
movement.
The things you can superimpose slalom gates on them.
Yeah, a mirror and Okay.
Well, if you imagine that in a really much more Heath Robinson built thing, and they used to have like shag pile carpet on. Right. I mean, it was just carpet. It wasn't anything special. Uh-huh. We used to laugh when they changed the carpet because it was a bit longer. It'd be like powder days.
Bit more resistance.
Yeah. Yeah. And worked there, and they had a kind of setup with Verbier, so bounced backwards and forwards, did a bit of time in Johannesburg, and then went to Verbier and taught the clients there.
Do you know a guy called Neil Bastian? He did all of this, I'm sure of it. South African guy, was into like boxing, MMA, that kind of stuff.
No, but how old is he?
He's kind of, I want to say like our age, probably my age.
Yeah, I'm 74.
My knees feel like they're 74. Okay, no, I thought that would be like amazing.
I don't know. So the weird thing was, when I was in Johannesburg, and it was the year that Nelson Mandela got voted in. Right. So I can't for life.
When I see him, I'm going to ask him if he knows yet what he does.
I don't know if he might have been maybe coming into it. He might have been
around.
When I
but he definitely did the whole Springbok Ski Club and the Verbier thing. Definitely. Yeah,
and I don't know. I think it only went on a few more. There was a bit of a Swedish connection. There's a couple of Swedish people involved with it. A couple of English guys. Okay. But while I was in Johannesburg, at a party, randomly bumped into two twins that was setting up Tiffindale, which is the slope in Lesotho.
Right. Okay.
So ended up finishing with Springbok after a couple of years. The boss man was quite difficult to work for, and kind of come to the end of it. So much skiing on carpet you can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but randomly met these guys, and if you've not seen it, look at Tiffindale. It's in Lesotho, up a mountain.
Yeah.
In the arsehole of nowhere.
Yeah.
You have to drive through. It's about an hour and a half up from a little village called Rhodes, which it's got one phone line.
Yeah.
In the village, an hour and a half away. In the middle of nowhere, and you drive up through this farmer's land, and I kind of was right at the start of it. So my job was to train the instructors.
Yeah.
I was in charge of entertainment.
Okay.
Weirdly enough.
All right.
And in charge of the ski hire. I kind of got rid of the ski hire after a while because it was just too much, and really some inner boots you can smell in your life.
Yeah.
And stayed up there for about 7 months. But we were involved right from the start, so building the infrastructure, putting lifts in.
Wow.
It's mad because it looks quite Scottish, but it's also, you can see it's quite African.
Yeah.
And to be standing there at 3 a.m. making snow on this strip of snow in the middle of nowhere was quite...
I've seen some images of it. It's because the only place you can ski there, isn't it? Like in South Africa.
Yeah, I think a couple of people tried other places, but it's obviously they did a lot of their homework because obviously winter's dry.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to make reservoirs and make the snow. But we had all these guys that were working kind of... the local guys, some of them kind of used to work on farms nearby, and as soon as we finished working, these guys would come out, black guys would come out with these little sledges and sledge down, and just, they'd never really seen snow before.
That's so cool.
And that came to an end, and randomly ended up going back to Verbier, did a season working for K2.
Right.
Doing a bit of stuff for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that led me back to Stockholm for a very short amount of time.
Okay.
So, the classic Swedish girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
And ended up getting a job on a dive boat in Egypt for 7 months. Yeah, it was all very random on the Red Sea.
Just going wherever the wind blows you.
Yeah, it was just all very kind of just seeing what was going on.
Yeah.
And I think I'd pretty much decided on the boat that I was going to go back to France, back to Serre Chevalier.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of friends there, and it seemed like a natural thing to do. I think even then I thought, I just need to go back, pass my ski instructor exams, and maybe go back into that.
Okay.
So a couple of years, I went back, ended up working in the bar again that I worked in years before, which is great. Hang out with friends, and then after I think 2 years of that, I thought, definitely have to get out of this business. It was great fun, but
grind you down.
There's only so much you can stand behind a late night party bar, and it's great fun. But
no, I've seen plenty of people who've done it, and they, it gets you in the end. You just see the same thing.
And coming back to what we said, once you know you can go to work and you're not really learning anything, and it's all quite humdrum, then so went into the French system.
Okay. You went that route. So at that time, did you have choices of route?
There probably would have always been, but I didn't really think about the choice. I was there in France.
Mm-hmm.
In the French system, so you have test technique, which is a slalom.
No problem.
You did a couple of days. There's a good base of skiers in Serre Chevalier. So it's the home of Luc Alfond and Kevin Page and Benjamin Malchion and those guys that were all kind of world champs and up there. Kevin Page is now the trainer for the men's French giant slalom team. So there was all these guys, and they would sometimes stick up training runs. And again, this comes back to the same way I used to kind of feel going to these races. It's like suddenly I'm skiing with these amazing racers, and I'm just floating. There's some bloke from Aldershot floating.
Yeah.
And I did 3 days with them in training a bit of slalom, and took the test technique. Got that, and then there's a pre-formation, which is like a 2-week teaching exam. My French was shocking. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Just smiling and nodding my head, copying the other guys.
Yeah.
And I would never go down the run first. I'd listen to what they were saying, pick up 10%,
roughly what's
and
going
then
on.
watch what the guy demoed.
Yeah.
And then kind of copy that. And there was a written exam in there, which I didn't take. Well, I drew some stickmen, I think, in snowplows and things like that. But and I was convinced that I hadn't passed.
Yeah.
Because on the last day you do it, there's like a jury thing. You pick that thing out of a hat.
Yeah.
It might be, I don't know, link snowplow turns, for example.
Yeah.
And you do a demonstration, and there's maybe 3-4 guys that you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And you ski down, and they ask you maybe 3 or 4 questions.
Okay.
And every question they asked me, I just said, "Je comprends rien."
Okay.
Because that was one of my phrases.
Yeah.
So I thought, there's no way I've passed this.
Well, how have you been running a bar in Serre Chevalier for years before?
Well, the weird thing was, I'm quite good at being lazy with things I don't necessarily like. All of the French people who used to come in the bar wanted to speak English.
Okay, classic.
It was quite an English bar anyway. It was owned by Brits, and it was very international. We had Dutch tour operators, Danish tour operators, had Scandies all over the place, Kiwis, Australians,
everyone spoke English.
Brits and French, but the language of the bar was
English.
British.
Yeah. I've done that before. That was my experience when I was living in Châtel. Was the same thing. It was quite hard to find people to speak French with, because everyone wants to practice their English.
Yeah, exactly.
And eventually, I'll forever be grateful for him. But there was a guy called French Miche who, took the time, even when he was drunk, to kind of listen to me trying to get this together, and he'd give me little tips here and there, and it was really cool. Like, I made big progress that way.
I think. You've got to, depending on the person. I mean, I've got a good friend and she's just so annoying. I mean, she'll go to Italy and do an Italian course and come back speaking Italian. I'm probably the opposite. I said to my French teacher at school, it's a stupid language. I'm never going to speak it. This is a waste of time. I think I might have just walked out.
I said the same in my French class. Not French class, maths class.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm never going to use this.
Never going
Went
to
to work for a bank.
Yeah. Yeah, so it kind of, I remember I went back to the bar that I used to work in, and obviously because all my friends were still there, and I just remember sitting there going, that was a waste of time.
Uh-huh.
Purely from the French side of it. And also the main formatter, the main coach, or the guy in charge of it, he gave me such a high note, or a mark for actually being on the course, that it overran the low mark I got in.
Oh wow! So the average was spot on.
It pushed me over what I needed to pass. I was like, "Gee, somehow I passed."
Great.
And then I was working in the French ski school.
Do you think that part of that was that they wanted someone there who's like English?
No, but the way it works in France, and a lot of people kind of think it's all controlled by the ESF, but it's the sports department that run those exams. So he's employed by the sports department.
Oh right, so there's no agenda.
He did make a point, because obviously it's all starting to kick off with the whole sort of Béziers and French thing. Kind of said to me in English, I respect you going through this system rather than just going to do a British one or whatever, and then saying, why can't I work in France?
Oh, that's cool.
And he's a really nice guy.
In the 90s?
Yeah, it would have been, early 90s, I suppose, mid 90s. He's actually world champion, this guy who passed me. He's a Masters world champion in slalom. Pierre de Clinclin. So, I started working in the French ski school. and did the Euro test. Again, just having that background of racing. I think I did 3 days training for it, got back on that, passed that. And then I suppose I was just starting to wait and work out whether I could carry on in the French system, because my French was a bit ropey. There's a lot of written stuff.
Yeah. There's 2 degrees after that, isn't there?
No, there's quite a few. You've got, I think, 3 or 4 stages. The Premier Cycle, Deuxième Cycle, Troisième, and then there's an off-piste module, and then there's a snowboard module, and then there's a course setting, traçage, and then finale.
Wow.
So there's a lot more.
Yeah, I'm largely ignorant of what goes into the French system, and I've been looking to find someone to talk to about that.
What's funny, having gone through parts of it, and then I contacted Basie. Purely, one of the main reasons was as well that there's a massive traffic jam in the French system.
Oh yeah.
So you've got to get your hours working.
Yeah.
But even if you had them, there's quite, there's a lot of people in France who want to become ski instructors because the pay's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons why the Eurotest is there, isn't it? It separates all the guys from Paris out and, puts them to one side.
I think at the end of the day, the way, I suppose if I come back and say that I contacted Basie and said, this is what I've done with racing. I was national team, this is the points I had, this is, I've done these things in the French system, where do I fit in? Just to see what would happen. And having done a little bit of both, it's just quite funny how different, Basie want you to pass the exam. They want you there, and they're quite friendly. Depending on who you get within the French, one of the guys in the French system, and he was part of the jury. We were in a cable car coming out the bottom from Serre Chevalier, and I didn't know what he said to me, but he looked at me and basically said, "You English, you haven't got a chance of passing this." I smiled and laughed at him because I didn't understand what he said, which ironically massively wound him up. And the guy that was in my group on the pre-formation was like, there was one guy in there that spoke English, so I stuck to him like glue. And he said, "What are you doing?" And this guy, I think he was a bit of a big shot. He was in the French team, and he was opening Euro tests. But I had no idea who he was. But it's just such a different vibe. It's like, I remember this guy explaining things and just waiting for answers to come back, but there was not really obviously this is my personal experience, it's maybe not the same, and I'm sure maybe it's changed slightly, but it was very much, if you haven't got the level, you're not going to pass, I don't care.
One could say that is the Francophone way.
Yeah.
The French way. It's like the default answer is no, get lost.
Similar to waiters. Can I not have cheese on my pizza? But he does cheese on it. Crazy. A few huffs and puffs. You get there in the end. But it was just a very different vibe. So then I came into the Basie sort of 2/3 through, I suppose.
Okay. So you convert into Basie. Yeah. That was when it was 3 levels back.
No, I think it was one of the first years when it was 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
And I think, if I remember rightly, I came in, they called it a 3 tech resit.
Okay.
Because it was only 1 week, and I think the 3 tech was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they kind of threw me in, said that you can do a week of the tech.
Okay. But if you've done test technique and Eurotest, you blitz that period.
Yeah, it's all, I think that was their thinking on it.
Yeah.
And bear in mind as well, I'd already been teaching on the dry slope when I was 16, and I'd already done 2 seasons in Verbier teaching. The Swiss skis, we were with Springbok Ski Club, we were under the Swiss Ski School.
I understand. Yeah.
So we had a Swiss ski school uniform on. Yeah. But we went skiing with the director. He watched us ski down the slope and went, "Yeah, you're fine."
Okay.
But again, this is back in the Wild West period of...
No, Neil told me about that. It's when he was teaching Verbier, he was nothing prouder when he got that red jacket on. He thought that was the best thing ever.
Yeah. It was a weird one because they used to give us a red jacket, but we didn't get red trousers, which was quite random. I remember that.
What about the red trousers?
Yeah. So a couple of years in Verbier was great fun as well.
Okay. But then presumably you worked your way through the rest of the basic system, popped out the top of that.
Yeah, came through that. I was quite interested in maybe going into the trainers or going into that, and there was a lot, not invitations, because I don't think they really invite anyone just to become a trainer.
You get pushed from certain people.
You want to come through the system, and to be honest, I just didn't fancy it.
Mm-hmm. And then you went back to Serre?
Back to Serre Chevalier, literally the year after I completed all my exams and was full cert, which I think was, just 2 years in the sort of doing a couple of weeks with Basie. I really wanted to get out of the ski school environment.
Okay.
Just from a point of view of working in a French ski school.
Yeah.
I got a bit fed up with going to welcome meetings as an English person, selling lessons to Brits, and then turning up the next day to go to work, and then the older French guys that had been in ski school longer were getting all the work that I'd gone out to get.
Classic. Yeah.
And it's the system, it's the way it works, it's the way it's set up. Basically, it's a list system.
Yeah.
The guy at the top of the list, regardless of what walks in the door, I mean, they do try and tune it a little bit and say, 60-year-old Jean-Marc isn't a very good snowboarder, but if a snowboarder walks in the door, he might...
He gets it. He gets the choice to turn it down, right?
Yeah, kind of. And they did, towards the end of it, they did try and make the system a bit fairer.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember just thinking, no, I'm going to jump out of this and change what I'm doing, and set up completely independently. And that, I suppose, in a lot of ways, I'm still kind of doing that. But so I don't really teach groups. I'll teach groups of people that are a group.
Yeah, that come together.
Yeah.
Yeah, same as we do that. Yeah,
but
we don't make groups.
Yeah, and I find, if you're a ski school and you've got 10 instructors, then you can maybe make that work.
Yeah, you need a certain... Yeah.
But you need to be able to put people up, people down, sideways, whatever, and be able to make it.
Yeah, and also, I think the thing that might have just died on its butt in the last 2 or 3 years is bringing groups of random people together. No one wanted that in the last 3 years. No one.
Well, yeah, and I mean, the thing that I used to hate more than anything was when they used to randomly put French and English groups together.
Yeah.
Because the client or the guest or whatever you want to call it, the skier, it's a massive generalisation, but they generally want very different things. The Brits, if they're honest, if you do 4 or 5 runs on the same slope, if that's an ideal slope for them to practice the skill that you're working on, they are happy as hell.
Yeah. They learn differently, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's the cultural thing. I mean, it's a really interesting part of, I think, coaching anything. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have had all sorts of different nationalities and different people, and that to me is one of the most fascinating things, that when you're teaching people from different countries how they learn, why they learn differently. I had a Brazilian guy a couple of years ago, and he was so eager to learn. And what's next? I just want to. And we were talking about it afterwards, and I said, what is it with you and this whole? Just let's learn this, move on when you're ready to. And he said, I don't. We were talking about it culturally. He said, I think in Brazil it's a bit like I could be shot tomorrow, so I want to learn it now. This is what he sort of said about it.
Wow.
But the French and the Brits, a mixed group of French and Brits, generally speaking, doesn't work very well, because as I said, the Brits are they're there to learn and happy. A lot of what most of the French guys would want is a little bit of a guide with some tips.
Yeah.
And it's not a problem, but trying to.
Yeah, but you see it. You see when because we're on the Port Soleil route, obviously, and you see it a lot. You see these kind of groups following the SF guys around, and they'll arrive at the top of the lift in Morjan. They've just come across the village from Super Chatel, and the guy, be one of the old boys with a hat and a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and he'll be like that over there, and he'd tell them all about all the mountains. He'd be like, that over there, that's the old smuggling route. And the French guy's going, wow, that's amazing. He's introducing me to his region, and he's proud of it because this is where he's from. And every now and then he might say, "Oh, you need to lean forward a little bit."
And Bernard's there going, "I want to learn to pole plumb."
But exactly. But I do say to my guys, that's really important. My old boss, I've told the listeners this before. My old boss, a guy I really respect, a guy called Ernest, used to say the same thing. So you've got to know the name of all the mountains because you've got to tell people about where you are, right? This is really important stuff.
I think if you're a chef, you've got to be able to cook this, you've got to be able to cook that, you've got to be able but when you've got, I don't know, if you can only cook one thing for your group and you've got 4 vegans and 4 people that are hunters, it's obviously very hard to make them all happy.
I think it's really, really important if you can just stop every now and then and go, this is that, and this is that, and this is why this is important, around here. I think it's a cool thing. It just shows you're just more than like a teaching robot, right? That you're part of where you are.
100%. And where in Serre Chevalier, it's quite interesting because there's a lot going on there for the sort of war years, obviously, right in the Italian
Frontalier region, right?
And things like the Chaberton Mountain, where Mussolini stuck naval cannons on top of the mountain. It's crazy when you look back. And the French shot at it and sort of blew the top off the mountain, and it looks like a volcano.
Right.
And the emplacements are still kind of up there, all ruined. But to be able to stand there and point around, I remember being up there as a very young ski instructor and standing on the mountain, Serre Chevalier.
Yeah.
And one of the clients was asking, where is Serre Chevalier? I was like, no, you can't see it from here. It's too cloudy. We were
standing on it.
But I think, it's that thing. Yeah, especially if you're spending more time, if you're spending maybe 3 hours every morning with a group. Also, it's a good time when you can see somebody slightly fatigued, or that person maybe just needs a minute or 2.
Yeah.
Slow the lesson down a bit, have a little chat, as long as you're saying interesting things. And
I think so.
It's more, you can't do that Aldershot, trust me.
Can't do that Aldershot, trust
It's not as interesting.
Point out the SAS base or whatever.
Yeah, that's the
army base.
Army,
so you went independent straight away, and how long have you been doing? You're still doing it, obviously, but not to the extent you were doing
still doing it. 100% still doing it, but it's not as, I suppose, before going into sort of doing a lot of film stuff, and it was the main part, I suppose, of my professional work.
Yeah.
100% still do it.
Loyal client base.
Loyal clients, new clients as well, but it's not week in, week out.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a bit weird since COVID, but working with the Rosnell Group.
Mm-hmm.
So Rosnell Group, if you're not aware, is Dina Star, Look, and then obviously anything with Rosnell written on.
Mm-hmm.
And working with them a little bit, producing content, film content. It's quite nice to do a week of filming stuff, maybe testing equipment.
Yeah.
Skiing with some of their guys, trying to film stuff, and then a week of teaching.
Yeah.
And various different things.
Keeps it fresh, doesn't it? I'm trying to get to a place now with the ski school where I'm not. Tried last year, but I didn't because we were one instructor short all season, and I just had to work, do the hours. But I'm trying to get to a place where everyone else does the work, and I'm doing the work I want to do, which is different. Because you come to the mountain with a different mentality, as opposed to here's some work, I've got to get through it before I go and do the other stuff that I've got to do. Whereas now I want it to be in a place where I sort of show up and like the thing that I'm doing is the thing that I'm focused on at that time, and that is what I'm doing. And you have more more concentration towards it, you know, and
it's
it
almost like
makes
you
it
can
really
step
good.
back and see a slightly bigger picture rather than being against the coalface.
I think so. And so I'm hoping that that's going to be what it looks like this season. But it's because I think when you give it, I've noticed that when you go with that kind of mindset, you deliver some really like kick-ass sessions, you know, and they're
I think
really good.
Anything, again, we've kind of brushed on it already, but when you become saturated and it's just a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
When there's a massive potential for your work quality to come down.
Yeah. It's all right. It's still working.
And do I care as much? And the clients will definitely pick up on that.
Yeah.
That can maybe not pick up on it, but I think your lessons will become repetitive. You won't think differently. You'll become, okay, that person skis like this, so I'm just going to do that lesson.
Yes.
And you almost choose, and it's something I see a lot, you almost see people choosing that I've got 5-6 lessons in my bag, that person skis like this, I'll get lesson 3 out. And it becomes repetitive, there's no fine-tuning it to that person, and not spending the time to get to know that person as quick as you can, because sometimes I might have somebody for 2 hours, I'll never see them again.
Yeah, that's true.
Depending on their budget.
Yeah.
Not every skier can turn up and spend €2,000 on lessons a week.
That's true. That is very accurate, because the temptation, isn't it, is and it's not our fault as professionals. I think often you see the same problems with people skiing over and over and over and over again, and the temptation is like, yeah, you're right, exactly right, like this guy is doing this, he misses this particular skill, I've taught this topic in this way before, and I know that if I teach it in this way I get results, therefore that's what I'm just going to drop into the situation and magically fix it. But you don't, like, if you're working loads and loads and loads and loads of hours and it's feels like work, you don't give it that kind of extra twist, a little bit of extra seasoning or something that you need to make it really good.
I would say that's something that if I was to go back in time and think, as a younger instructor or coach, whatever you want to call yourself, you kind of do that. You kind of go, right, that person skis like this, they need to work on this, let's do that. Whereas I find it what I call the kind of chairlift ride, the person probably thinks that I'm being polite, just having idle chit chat.
Yeah.
But what you're trying to do is build up as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
As an instructor, you're going to see the person ski.
Yeah.
You probably see already the way they've walked to you, the way they've carried their skis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The way they've, you're probably going to have a good idea straight away as soon as you see them. What you don't know from looking at them ski is what they do for a living. What do they think of their skiing? Asking them tell me what you think your problems are. That's a good way in that first chairlift to get as much information to be able to pinpoint to that individual in that time frame, getting the most out of it.
Yeah.
Rather than just going, lesson 3, let's do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Put your poles in your hands, point them down the hill.
Yeah.
Ski down here.
That stuff. Yeah, that's true. It's very important, that thing, that getting to know the client thing, and it's not
priming them.
Yeah.
Is the analogy, if you're going to paint a rusty gate, you need to sand it back, get rid of the rust, prime it, and fundamentally, when you put that paint on that gate, it's going to stick. If you don't spend that time to prime that client, some people turn up at a lesson really quite stressed out. Oh my God, I'm being looked at, I'm being judged.
Judged is a huge one.
I've got to do my best skiing, and you as if you're trying to learn anything, you're not going to learn when your head's in that space. So trying to spend the time to actually put that person in the right frame of mind to then learn.
Yeah.
And then hopefully when you give them one thing, it might stick. And instead of coming back and spending the same money on the same fundamental things that they've been talking about for 20 years.
Yeah, it's true, right? One of the things that I always do these days, because you do feel that tension, don't you, as you're coming up the chairlift with that person, they're worried.
Yeah.
Especially, I think, women a little bit, they're like that judginess. I'm like, look, we're not even going to talk about skiing until we've skied down to this lift. I'm skiing, I'm warming up, I'm rubbish, right? So I'm just going to do my thing. I might occasionally glance at you, but don't stress. Just ski how you want to ski. I'll be able to see the thing, whatever the thing is that's bothering you. So don't worry about it. Just ski down here, enjoy it. And actually, I tend to give them a little focus. I'm saying, just tell me what you think. Like, I want you to just do an analysis of the snow as you come down here. So just when we get to the bottom here, just tell me what you think the snow's like. What kind of snow are we skiing on today, and what does it allow us to do and what doesn't? And then it gives them something else to think about. And while you get a chance to have a quick eyeball on them, and I'll ski in front of them, that really puts their mind at ease, because they think that I'm not looking, I can't see. It's like, well, we all know, right, that you can see one look over the shoulder, and you're like, I can see.
Various. How did you see that?
Yeah,
it's common. Well, you weren't even looking.
It's like what I do for a living.
Yeah, I mean, but it's putting that. I'll often ski behind. I'll just say, look, I'm following you, or whatever, or sometimes I'll ski down. I mean, again, if you've just met that person, something I'll often do is stand still, and the skier will come down, and they'll look at you like, okay, oh my God, that was really, judge me, and I just stand there, look quite upset, and I just say, the skiing's fine, but your face, you look like an axe murderer. But then they do exactly what you just did, which is just to laugh a little bit, and within 2 minutes, their guards come down. Yeah, they feel a bit more relaxed. They know it's not, it's not a comedy show, but they know it's not super serious. Yeah. And why do they go skiing? They go skiing to have fun at the end of the day. And you should have fun when you go bloody skiing.
It's supposed to be fun, isn't it?
That's what they say.
What has annoyed me? I wasn't supposed to chuck this in later. What annoys me about skiing? The listeners know this because I say it all the time. Is skiing as performance sport really annoys me, because it's also serious. It annoys me in sport in general. Actually, I was moaning. I went to see someone whose husband's quite high up in UEFA the other day, and I was ranting about this the other day. It's like, the thing is about modern sport, you can take any sport you like now, it's all been, what would you call it, like corporatized and performanced to within an inch of its life. Doesn't matter what sport you want, cricket, football, rugby, skiing especially. You go on an instructor course, everyone's like, angles and this, and it's like, what are you talking about? We're up in the mountains and we're sliding around on snow. Can't we all just have a good time?
That it can really overshadow sometimes. You've got
performance boots, like skis and metal in. It's like, just chill. Everyone calm down. That's why I like going telemarking. It's because it's just a totally different vibe.
It's that weird thing of, it takes the fun out of it. And if I go all the way back to skiing up and down that dry slope, it was just fun. Yeah, it was training. Yeah, I was doing quite well. And suddenly, you've got a jacket with your country written on the back and all that. But it was still fun. And the second it's not, my 12-year-old is now decided he wants to come out of the race team. He's joined a new freestyle free ride club. Yeah. Part of me is a bit disappointed, is the wrong word. A bit upset, because it would be nice for him to do a few more years. Yeah. But when I look at the training, I don't see the fun enough. It's all very serious. It's all about the time. Yeah. And I'm sure it's the same in all of the Alpine nations, and probably all the same in, you involved with football, etc. Kids start getting to 14, 15, and they drop out like flies, even some of the better ones.
It's true.
And
we've got a little freestyle club that runs Max runs on Sunday. It's got 2 groups this year. It's expanded, and the reason it's popular is because kids just get to go and have fun, jump around, and ski off piste and all this sort of stuff. They love it. A lot of those are in race clubs.
Make that complete skier as well.
Yeah.
Make the complete skier that can go red blue, and hopefully do their instructor exams if they want to do it, and have that good base. And the trainers he'd much rather a kid come from the race team that can't do the 360 or whatever, than a kid that can maybe do a backflip and 360 off jumps and look like they know the way around the jump park, but they don't have that fundamental technique or base of skiing, repetition, going around, skiing on firm snow, that allows them to go, as you said earlier, most of the best freerider guys in the world, freestylers, have probably got
solid technique,
done their stuff in the gates.
Well, the extreme stuff that they're doing these days. What was that Jeremy Heights film that came out? He used to race. I know guys that used to race with him. I mean, you can't ski that stuff without a solid base, can you? It's pretty serious.